Hello, welcome to this week's meditation session. In the talk this week, we heard the story of how King Ajatasattu met the Buddha and a large number of the Buddha's followers deep in the forest, deep in the mango forest. On the way there, King Ajatasattu had been, a little spooked, if not frightened, by the fact that although he'd been told he was being led to the Buddha and a large number of followers, he couldn't hear a sound. How was this possible, he wondered? Was he being led into a trap? He could hear no sneezes or shuffling or snuffling. Well, he did find the Buddha and the Buddha's followers deep in meditation, deep in the forest. So, although we can't meet, the historical actual figure of the Buddha, as did King Ajatasattu in this story, we're going to sit ourselves in meditation and, at least in our imagination, add some other dimension, we're going to sit with the Buddha. And hopefully we too may be able to sit with at least some quietness and peace. But, if you need to shuffle or sneeze, don't worry. There's only you there, presumably. So, we'll be meditating for perhaps 20 minutes. And I'll start the meditation by, leading us in to an imaginary image of the Buddha. Although imaginary, there is still, if you like, another degree of reality involved here. Okay, we can meet, if you like, the Buddha principle, if not the Buddha in physical person. So I'll lead us in, and then we can just sit contemplating the image of the Buddha that's been brought about. Okay, so firstly, we just make sure that we're comfortable, that we're sitting both comfortably and not slumping or slouching so that we can stay alert. You may have your shrine, you may have a Buddha figure and candles and incense and flowers, etc. All of that may help to this sort of atmosphere. If not, don't worry. Let's just rely on our visual imaginations. And if you can't conjure just a visual image for yourself, some people are better at this than others, and just listen to the words and let a sense of presence maybe emerge for you. Okay, so contemplation of Shakyamuni Buddha. So firstly, just sitting with the experience of sitting. Just letting our minds quieten. And then whatever's going on for us, we can just allow that to be there. And at the same time, just allow a sense, maybe a subtle sense, of us being surrounded by a pristine, clear scintillating, beautiful blue sky. It's a blue sky in which everything around and everything within our mind can just appear and disappear back into. And we can just let everything in our experience just dissolve into the clear, brilliantly lit blue sky. It's expansive and infinite, stretches in all directions, all sides, above and below. And we ourselves can just soften our edges, our boundaries, just a little between us and the blue sky. After dwelling in this calm blueness for a while, we start to see a flat, grassy plain appear in front of us. In the far distance are snow-capped mountain peaks. We can feel the expansiveness of the plain, can even see the bright colours of the grass. And then, in this plain, in the foreground, grows up a spreading Bodhi tree, a tree of awakening. It has a silver trunk, wide-reaching branches, and heart-shaped dark green leaves. Under the tree is a mound of grass, kusha grass, piled up to form a seat. Laid on the seat is a pure white cloth. And then, as we contemplate this scene, on the white cloth gradually appears a golden lotus. And then seated on the golden lotus is Shakyamuni Buddha, cross-legged in meditation. His body is made of golden light, shining brilliantly. He wears the saffron robes of a monk with one shoulder uncovered. His hands rest in his lap in the meditation posture, one on top of the other, supporting a large black begging bowl. His hair is blue-black and curly. He is smiling serenely, his eyes half closed. His figure is surrounded by an aura of golden light and gives off a feeling of deep peacefulness and infinite compassion. And we sit quietly like the monks in the forest, contemplating this image. Or just sitting with the sense of the description. Whenever our mind wanders off, we just come back to the sense of ourselves sitting. The sensations maybe at the feet or knees and the sitting bones. And we can just relax into that sensation. And just bring our senses back to Shakyamuni Buddha, sitting cross-legged in meditation. We can allow our breathing to be there, to come and go. We can allow whatever arises to come and go. Whatever's happening, the blue sky is present. even if we momentarily lose sight of it. And whatever happens, the Buddha is still sitting. Even if we lose touch with that fact. We can always come back to the blue sky, back to Shakyamuni Buddha. If you're finding yourself getting distracted, just come back to sitting. Maybe just come back to the breath. Just follow the breath for a few moments. And then recollect Shakyamuni Buddha. Glowing with golden light. Radiating peacefulness and compassion. And as we sit, the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha glows ever more brightly. The golden light shines out with greater and greater intensity. Until it's as if the outlines of the figure are absorbed into the light itself. And we just sit in the midst of the golden light. golden light just coalesces and resolves itself back into the golden lotus, which itself is gleaming and brilliant. And the golden lotus dissolves back into the white cloth, which gleams with great purity. And then the white cloth and the mound of grass dissolve back, disappear into the vast grassy plain. With the distant mountains. And the whole landscape glows brighter until its light is absorbed back into the blue sky. When we sit for a moment in the vast, infinite blueness. And then the blue sky fades away. And we're just here sitting with how we are. So we just gently, in our own time, bring the practice to a close. Maybe just imagine taking something of that expansiveness, light, peacefulness and compassion onwards into our day or evening. So, goodbye for this week. Stay well. Take care of yourself and others around you. And see you again next week.